you for joining us for the second plenary of the Goodstock Conference. As I'm sure you all know by now, the full name of this conference, Goodstock, being good is a state of mind, and the mind is what we will zero in on in the next session. How do we keep our mind focused on our goal despite hard setbacks and challenges? Joining me in the studio are some inspirational individuals who overcame great hurdles. Arik Zeevi, four-time Judo European champion and Olympic bronze medalist who had a long and illustrious career, but also experienced great disappointments through it all. And in New York, Nicola Mitchell, founder of Girls Who Brunch, a nonprofit that helps at-risk youth and enables young girls to succeed. Hi, guys. Thank you for being with us.
Hello.
Hi, Arik. Hi, Nicola.
Greetings.
So before we begin, I would like to ask you both to introduce yourself. I'm sure many of our viewers know you both very well, but for those who are less familiar with your work, Nicola, why don't you go first?
Hi, my name is Nicola Mitchell. I am the founder of Girls Who Brunch Tour. I am a best-selling writer. I have done so many things. I've written 17 books, and during that process, I came across these girls in Charleston, South Carolina that motivated me to start Girls Who Brunch Tour. As of date, we've serviced 24,000 girls nationwide.
Wow. That's amazing. 24,000 girls throughout the years. That's amazing. Really inspirational. And what do you do with Girls Who Brunch? What do they do?
Okay, so we sponsor 50 to 100 girls who are from not so great circumstances, girls rescued from the sex trade, girls in group home, girls in foster care, and we put them with girls from a normal circumstance and just subliminally let them teach them while we're letting them have a good time. We're doing a Girls Empowerment Conference. We have panels, workshops, performances, and we have just opportunities for the girls to be able to speak, tell what they're going through, and then we bring the who's who of that community to them, in front of them, to help them to inspire and empower them.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nicola. And Arik, how does a kid from the ultra-religious city of Bnei Brak become one of the top judokas in the world?
Actually, I started training in a very bad neighborhood. It's called Pardes Katz.
I know this neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a very bad one. I started training in the shelter in the community center in Pardes Katz. The only reason I started judo was because the coach was my neighbor. So my elder brother started training before me, and I was following them like any young brother. It's like the sports in Israel, it was very coincidental. Mm-hmm. If my neighbor was a karate coach, well, I was doing karate. Karate is not an Olympic sport, so I wouldn't be an Olympic athlete. And actually, in my nonprofit, I'm trying to change this thing in the Israeli sport.
And what do you do in your nonprofit?
I'm trying to change the Israeli sport. I don't know if you know, Israel is ranked number 89 in the Olympic achievements.
Wow.
Country with the same population as Israel, like Bulgaria has 217, Finland has 303, even the tiny Liechtenstein has 10 Olympic medals. We have only 9 Olympic medals. And there's nothing wrong with the Israeli mentality. Otherwise, we won't be so successful in other fields. And there's nothing wrong with the Jewish gene. I checked it out.
That's what I wanted to ask.
There are more than 700 Olympic medals gained by Jews. Mm-hmm. Mark Spitz, for example, gained
just not from Israel, you're saying?
Just not from Israel, because there is a very big problem in the Israeli sports. All the sport is running by private clubs, and the coaches are getting paid according to the number of athletes, not according to achievements. Mm-hmm. And we will talk about it. Many problems in the Israeli sport, and I'm trying to change it.
Right. And what were the hurdles you faced, and how did you overcome them?
First of all, I think in Israel, for example, you could be the next Michael Phelps if you're not living next to a swimming pool, so you won't even know that you have a talented in swimming. So the thing I'm trying to do is, first of all, to scout the talented kids. I'm going to elementary schools. Mm-hmm. I'm scouting the talented kids. By the way, 80% from the kids that I scouted, from the girls that I scouted, didn't do sport before I came to the schools. I don't like to say it, but girls in Israel are not doing sports. They're going to ballet dancing, or they're doing maybe rhythmic gymnastics, but they're not going to sports. So first of all, I'm scouting there. Second of all, I'm giving them the opportunity to train in 3 different sports with the best coaches in Israel. And afterwards, I'm navigating them to the right sports. I think this is the most important part because Michael Phelps, for example, if he would be a basketball player, it wouldn't be Michael Phelps. Or Michael Jordan, if he was a swimmer, it won't be Michael Jordan. So first of all, kids need to find his talent and then try to fulfill his potential. And that is what I'm trying to say. I'm mainly focusing in very bad neighborhoods because I think also sports is the best way to reduce the gap. Because I grew up in Parnascat, so I know. You know, my elder brother, for example, are both working in the high-tech industry. They're both electric engineer.
Yeah.
So they reduce the gap through education, and I'm trying to do it through sport.
Thank you, Arik. Nicola, I think Arik and you come from really different backgrounds, but at the same time, I'm sure you have many in common, many things in common. Can you tell us about the challenges you went through while starting Girls Who Brunch?
So our backgrounds are really not that different. I'm originally from Jamaica, and I moved to Las Vegas when I was fairly young, and I moved to a very poor neighborhood. And being an immigrant, coming to a predominantly Black neighborhood that really wasn't familiar with Caribbean culture, I was isolated, right? And I was raped multiple times before I turned 16. The first time I was raped was in church by my choir director.
Wow.
And during that time, I thought something was wrong with me because things just kept happening. So I joined this organization in high school. It's called Upward Bound. And at first they told me I wasn't going to be able to participate because I had my first daughter 5 days after my 15th birthday. And Dr. Sullivan never gave up on me. And he told me that I was going to participate, go to college, do everything that everybody else was able to do, even with my daughter. And so I use those techniques, because I really believe, and I say this in everything that I've done as an adult, that if it wasn't for Dr. Sullivan, I would not be here. I would still be like a lot of my peers, still living in that neighborhood, still living in Las Vegas,
and
maybe just having a hotel job. Yeah, and so he showed me something different. But I do the same thing. I go into fairly poor neighborhoods, and I put this event together so they don't have to go out, venture out. They're able to walk in if they need to. And those are where the most talent is at, in those neighborhoods, but people would never know because they're low income. So we're very sane. That's why I'm just smiling listening to him.
You know, Nicola, when I work with women suffering from domestic abuse, I often see myself in those women, given my own personal history. Yes. And then I feel that it helps me help them. Do you feel the same with the girls you help?
Yes, because when I come in, these girls don't know who I am. And I make sure I'm just very pretty. I'm dancing. I'm having a good time. But at the same time, they're intrigued because they're like, who is this person? And so after I'm dancing, taking pictures, once they introduce me and give all my accolades, then I turn around and tell them, I am just like you. I was raped. I was beaten. I had 2 children that passed away, and you can be better than me. And so with the girls, when you tell them this, then they're more open to tell you what they're going through. We have an anonymous panel session, and they put their questions in the bag, and we pull them. And the questions can be as simple as, how did you start your business, to, I am being raped by my uncle, how do I get help? Like, you never know what somebody is going through, and you being open and vulnerable, telling your story, how that would allow them to be open and tell what's going on with them in turn.
You're doing an amazing thing, Nicola. Really, it's really inspiring. And I want to ask you, Arik, what motivates you in your journey?
It's a good question. You know, in my last Olympic game in London, I lost after 43 seconds. And when I came to Israel, I started hearing the thing that I hear all the time, that Israel is not good at sport because of the Israeli mentality and because of the Jewish gene. And I hate when people say that. And I want to try to change it. We are one of the best nations in high-tech, and we have one of the strongest army in the world. We have so many Nobel Prizes. And I think we can also be a good country in sport. that is what I'm trying to do. You know, I failed a little bit in sports because I really wanted to finish my career with Olympic gold medal. So I will try to do that through my nonprofit.
What is the one thing that you would like to tell, to deliver? What message you want to deliver to those young kids that are maybe struggling at home?
I think kids all over the world, first of all, needs to find what they're best at. It's the most important part, and then do their best in order to fulfill it. I have to tell you about a very special project that I'm running, because David Harrison, who was here, is one of the biggest donors to that project. It's a long-distance running project directly to the Ethiopian community. It's a well-known fact that the Ethiopian community has a talent in athletic, in running, but it's not enough that you're Ethiopian. Someone has to scout you, someone has to train you. So I took two Olympic athletes, former Olympic athletes. I gave them the opportunity to scout the talented kids in two difficult neighborhoods in Netanya and Petah Tikva. They scouted 40 kids. 80% of them was Ethiopian. 2.5 years later, in the Israeli championship till the age of 12, all the podium was ours. Gold medal, silver medal, and bronze medal. So I think it's very easy. If you find a kid with a potential and you give them the right opportunity, he will fulfill his potential.
Nicola, I see you're listening and you're nodding. So I guess you agree with Arik.
Totally. We start going into, pre-COVID, the detention centers. So these girls are 12 to 17, and some of them are certified as adults. They're going to prison. And you wonder, like, what got them there, right? And these are, like, small charges to things that are because of human trafficking. And those girls, though, I helped one baby get out. And when she got out, she has so much potential. She's so full of life. And it's just like, if she didn't meet me, and if I didn't help her get out, like, where would she be right now? And she is my inspiration. Every time it gets hard, and especially now that COVID is happening and we can't get to those children, you know, like, we tripled the numbers of attendees because we're doing it virtually. But the girls who I really need to be able to be part of it, they're not a part of it because they do not have access to internet, the devices. And those are the babies, like, what he just said, those are the children that will always shine the most, but I don't have the ability to get to them right now. So that's my biggest challenge.
Nicola, what is your vision? How do you see Girls Who Brunch maybe in the future?
Being from Jamaica, I want this to be an international event. I want to be able to have, like, a World Girls Who Brunch Tour day, that we're doing a major conference simultaneously throughout the world. I want us to be able to have graduate programs. My alumni, I still work with them and I bring them back in, but I want to be able to have more resources for them. I want to be able to help them more with their futures, their businesses. I want to have a couple of charter schools throughout the nation. There's a lot that I want to do. I'm also developing a human trafficking app right now for girls to be able to have access to. Okay, the biggest thing with human trafficking is they have all these resources for them to call, but if they call and there's not someone able to answer the phone, they're not able to tell you where they are or have someone call back. So I want an app to be able to track them. So these are the things I'm working on now for in the future.
Really inspiring. And I can already see and imagine how it's going to look, the international conference that you're going to make. So don't forget to invite me, Nicola. And Arik, I want to ask you the same question. What would you like to accomplish?
I want that the people in Israel will be proud in their athlete. I want to see the Israeli football team qualifying to the World Championship. I want to see many Israeli athletes winning gold medals in Olympic Games. I want to see kids from peripheral areas representing Israel in European, World, and Olympic Games. And it's possible. Israel is good at sports. I think I have to tell you one thing that I didn't know that. Jews are 0.5% of the population how do we say it? 2.5% of the Olympic medals are gained by Jews. So there's nothing wrong with the Jewish gene, and I think Israel can gain 8 till 10 Olympic medals every Olympic Games. Right now we have barely 1 or 2. That is my vision, and it will take but 6 to 8 years till we'll accomplish that.
Arik, I know you. When you set a goal, you go and get it. So
not always, but thank you.
I'm looking forward to see all these medals.
Thank you
I want to
very
ask both of you, and we'll start with you, Nicola.
Okay.
Our viewers here, they all want to cultivate good, to spread good and kindness. And I want to ask you, how do we do that? As two people who do that on a daily basis, what do you think the best thing we should all know?
I believe that you need to find out what is your weakness. What is something that hurts you? What is something that is your Achilles heel? Believe it, that there are so many other people that feels like you. So that is what you need to motivate yourself into trying to create a better world with. And then on top of it, just do it. A lot of people try to wait till they get the funding, till they have the right information. I always just say, just do. What's supposed to happen will happen. What you're supposed to have will come. When I started Girls Who Brunch, I didn't have a budget. I didn't even have a name. I just knew that I wanted to do something for girls throughout the country. And look, we quadrupled the number. But I feel like I have so much passion to do this because this is something that it's me. When I see those girls, I see me. So if you find, just as Arik said, he wants to make more children Olympic medalists. That is something that was dear to him. So that's what motivates him. So I think if we find what motivates us, then we'll be able to give that to the world and fight even harder, because that's something that we want to do. You see yourself in them.
I love it. And I'm definitely going to use it. I have some ideas, Nicola. Maybe I'll speak to you later again. Thank you, Nicola, and I want to hear from you, Arik.
I have to agree with Nicola, because I think many people, after they fail, they start to feel sorry at themselves and start to find excuses. And I think that if they will learn how to use that burn that we feel right after we fail, it's the best motivation we can ever get. I think my biggest achievement in my judo career was right after I failed somewhere. Because,
that's so interesting.
Yeah, I think that is one of the best things in competitive sport. You learn how to use, how to deal with stress, how to deal with failure, and how to use that burn. And I think it's the most important thing for a kid.
Thank you so much. Yes, we will. Thank you so much, Arik. Thank you so much, Nicola.
Thank you, Nicola.
I've learned so much. You're really two inspiring people. Thank you so much for all the good that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.